In a small town living rough, times were hard and life was tough. On the porch we'd find our peace, talking about the land of the free. Stars and stripes in the sky, blue and red lines standing high. But beneath the freedom's call lies the story of us all. A conversation with the Mutts, just a whisper in our thoughts, talking about the dreams we chase in this vast American space. The roads we walk, they're cracked and dry, still we look up at the sky with hope that never dies and tears that fill our eyes. Thunderstorms and desert plains, echoes of our joys and pains. From the heartland to the coast, it's the simple things we toast. The conversation with the Mutts, just a whisper in our thoughts, talking about the dreams we chase in this vast American space. The roads we walk, they're cracked and dry, still we look up at the sky with hope that never dies and tears that fill our eyes. That vast American space.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the Celtic Mutt.
And I am Mrs. Mutt.
And unfortunately, due to a technical issue, you all missed about the first 30 seconds of our opening song. I do apologize for that. However, you will be hearing that song pretty much the start of every show. So tonight we will be discussing the different intonations of the U.S.S. Virginia, starting with the very first U.S.S. Virginia coming to the current. And I believe that's been represented, that there have been 10 on the current logo. Isn't that the case, Mrs. Mutt?
10, including the current.
Right.
Yes.
Technically, I believe if you are a history buff like I am, that there were 11, but I'm biased. So yeah.
And if you're a northerner like me, you didn't learn about the first one being called the U.S.S. Virginia.
No.
Ever.
Actually, we will get into that, however, as the show progresses. I was going to go over very quickly, or relatively quickly, the 10 different ships that have carried the name the U.S.S. Virginia. The first being built in 1776. It was a 28-gun sailing ship built in 1776 and captured by the British in the following year and recommissioned as the HMS Virginia. They at least kept the name Virginia, even though they stole the ship. The second USS Virginia was built in 1797, and it was a 14-gun revenue cutter built in 1797 and returned to the revenue cutter service in 1801. Now, my question is, what happened to it between 1797 and 1801? Where was? But I couldn't find anything on that. I thought that was a little strange. The next was built in 1825, and it was a 74-gun ship of the line, laid down in 1818, but never launched, and broken up on the stocks in 1874. The next was built in 1861 and was captured, and was a captured Spanish blockade runner during the American Civil War and commissioned into the U.S. Navy. Now, the next one would have been the U.S.S. Virginia, known as the BB-12. The BB-12 was a battleship commissioned in 1906 and decommissioned in 1920 and destroyed in 1923 as a bombing target. The SP-74 would be the next Virginia ship, and it was a yacht purchased by the Navy and officially referred to only as the SP-274. Excuse me. It patrolled Lake Michigan during World War I. The next one was the SP-746, and it was a motorboat acquired by the U.S. Navy, officially referred to only as the SP-746, and it patrolled the East Coast also during World War I. The next would have been the U.S.S. Virginia. Again, all of these are the U.S.S. Virginia, and that was the SP-19, which was the SP-1965. There we go. Was a two-masted auxiliary schooner acquired by the U.S. Navy and officially referred to only as the SP-1965, and it patrolled the East Coast also during World War I. The next would have been the USS Virginia. The CGN-38 was a Virginia-class cruiser, which I have found a ton of pictures of while we were doing this show. It took me forever to find submarine pictures of the actual Virginia-class nuclear submarine.
The one we used as a thumbnail is the one I found for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it was. It was commissioned in 1976 and decommissioned in 1994.
Hey, Captain Red.
The next was the USS Virginia, was known as the SSN 774. It was it is the current submarine, and it was commissioned in 2004. And it has a lifespan, which this is something that we would cover later, but I'll go ahead. It has its nuclear reactor has a lifetime guarantee for the 33 years span that the ship is supposed to serve.
No, Captain Red, USS Virginia.
What did he think it was?
A part of a woman's food.
Oh, no, Red. That is not the case. No. Behave yourself.
Speaking of the current USS Virginia, the propulsion system has one nuclear reactor that utilizes one propeller.
Mm-hmm.
It is 377 feet long, or 115 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Its beam is 34 feet, or 10.4 meters.
Did we ever figure out what a beam was?
Yes, it is actually the width.
Okay.
The draft, which is the height, is 30.5 feet, or 9.3 meters. When it is surfaced, it displaces approximately 6,950 tons. When it is submerged, it displaces approximately 7,800 tons. Its speed when it's surfaced is approximately 25 knots, which is equal to 28.7 roughly miles per hour.
Correct.
Submerged, it's approximately 32 knots, which is 36.8 roughly miles per hour.
Correct.
You were talking about armament.
Yes.
This has Tomahawk missiles from 12 VLS, which is vertical launch system tubes, 4 533 millimeter torpedo tubes for MK-48 torpedoes, harpoon, advanced missile mines, and unmanned undersea vehicles. Its crew is 15 officers and 17 enlisted men. Hey, Mac.
She will stay. She can stay submerged as long as 3 months at a time.
Yes, I came across that too.
Yes. You covered something else I was going to cover. She does travel at 25 knots, which is roughly 28 miles per hour.
Yeah, I actually went to a convergence.
Yeah, I got you. Now, what I found interesting was she was the first ship to be designed
Yes.
strictly by 3D imaging.
Yes. And then also
The first U.S. naval ship. Let me clarify.
Yes. I found something else with that in line.
It can accommodate a large number of. What I found interesting is they doubled the. And while you're looking for that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in on you.
Yeah, she was drafted entirely via computerized software.
Yep.
And she is recognized by many as the quote world's most technologically advanced submarine.
And the most stealthy
She's
submarine.
also noted to be the first submarine without a true periscope.
Yes. The Virginia was the first U.S. Navy warship to be developed, as I said, by using 3D visual imaging. She can actually reconfigure her torpedo tubes, one of her torpedo tubes that can accommodate a large number of special operation forces and all of their equipment. Now, I grew up in a Navy town, and I can tell you that's a lot of equipment. That just blows my mind. I mean, obviously, I'm not in the Navy, never been in the Navy, but I have seen them getting ready to load up to move out, having worked on a naval base, and yeah, that ain't a small amount. Let me tell you, folks.
Mac, I saw they got the CAD computer program from MIT. Is that an airplane? Is that an airplane emoji?
Afternoon, Mac. Captain Red.
With that, I'm assuming that means it's from the Air Force.
What's up?
That they got the CAD computer program from the Air Force. I'm assuming because it looks like that's an airplane.
I don't know what you're looking at, sweetie. So
in the quote, in the chat.
Well, it doesn't show up on my chat. You're on the actual chat.
Yeah, I'm on the chat.
I'm
chat
on StreamYard chat.
Computer, or in the on my phone.
I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. I know CAD is computer animated drafting.
Computer aided drafting.
Aided drafting, yeah.
I had a cousin who was studying to be an architect. I know it's aided.
The best man. The best. My kid's godfather works for the same company the Faceless Roommate works for as an AutoCAD guy. So
I found it kind of funny going back to that nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
The ship is powered by an S9G nuclear reactor.
Yep.
S stands for submarine, and 9 stands for ninth generation. G stands for General Electric.
Yep.
So the people that make your stove or refrigerator are responsible for the nuclear reactor powering this submarine.
Hey,
And this
he's a-
nuclear reactor essentially provides unlimited range in this ship. The aircraft industry used the 3D thing, and used it.
Mm.
Okay, so the aircraft industry, not the airport. Okay. Going back to the tower,
Right.
you were talking about the cameras and such. The tower is actually set well forward and is home to digital multi-purpose masts, communications, and navigations, as well as night vision and infrared cameras, thereby broadening capabilities. And because of its position, they actually lowered is it still called a bridge on a sub?
I believe so.
They actually lowered that, and it gave them more space for the bridge.
Right. I believe it is still called a bridge. I wouldn't say it was a bridge over troubled waters. I would say more like a bridge under troubled waters, but I'm just saying.
In the midst of troubled waters.
Yes. Change. See, I'm running across some of the same stuff you've already covered.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is.
You said it was commissioned in 2004.
2004, yes, and it has a 33-year lifespan.
Right. Since that commissioning, it has been a prominent player in ongoing U.S. military actions in Afghanistan and Iraq. Its early deployments have taken her to Greece, Spain, the UAE, Turkey, and elsewhere.
I wonder if did they take it to gravy too?
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. But,
yes.
But if they took it to mashed potatoes, then they had to have taken it to gravy because you cannot have mashed potatoes without gravy.
Cranberry sauce.
That's true. Never let it be said that we don't try to make you laugh. We're going to go back for a second just because I need to clarify something. When I said that there were actually 11 ships that were known as the Virginia prior to this one, which has the logo of 10, 10 stars?
9.
So, 9 stars, and it being the 10th. But I said there was 11. The CSS Virginia, okay, we're going all the way back to the Civil War on this one, was actually originally named the U.S.S. Merrimack. So when you had the Battle of the Ironclads out here in Hampton Roads,
which there is actually a bridge, a bridge tunnel,
that
is called the Merrimack.
Yeah.
So we, not us personally, but we as a collective in Hampton Roads, go past the battle site constantly.
Which I found ironic because it was technically 2 Union ships fighting one another, because they literally built what became the CSS Virginia. They built that on the hull of the original Merrimack and just added iron casings to the sides, making it one of the first ironclads. So, yeah, and it was the Merrimack itself was actually named for the river that it patrolled and was captured off of, which was the Merrimack River. But yeah, it was named after the river that actually it flows through Merrimack, Massachusetts. The ship was 275 feet long, 38.5 feet wide, and 27.5 feet deep, with 10 guns and an angled hull to deflect cannon shots. The CSS Virginia was launched in March. It doesn't give the exact date of 1862 and resembled a floating barn roof. Many of the Union soldiers continued to refer to her as the Merrimac or the Rebel Monster. After the Battle of Hampton Roads in 1862, both sides used the name Virginia and Merrimac interchangeably. The crew members often called it the Merrimac, and both spellings are still used in Hampton Roads.
By the way, Mac, I agree.
What's that?
He said, glad Joe didn't leave it in Afghanistan, too. That would have majorly made a few people upset.
Oh, yeah. We're not even going to talk about that doddering old man. Going to be nice.
Can I go back to the coat of arms?
Yes, by all means.
It is actually emblazoned on a blue background to symbolize the mighty deep.
Yep.
And then the U.S.S. Virginia is prominently positioned, of course. The forward view of the Virginia denotes her leading the submarine force into a new century and onto a new and exciting course for the U.S. Navy. The gold lettering and border around the seal, combined with the blue background, represents the Navy's colors of blue and gold. The silhouette of the Commonwealth of Virginia represents the state. Each of the 9 stars, so there are 9 stars above the ship, represents an American warship named Virginia. The single point of light at the stern of the ship symbolizes both the nuclear propulsion plant that powers the submarine, as well as the ship's data processing system fiber optic backbone. In keeping with the Commonwealth of Virginia's motto, it moved the wrong way. The words sic semper tyrannis, which is Latin for thus always to tyrants, appear at the bottom, which is also on the Virginia state flag.
Yes, it is.
Which, combined with the symbolism of the Commonwealth state seal, represent the triumph of virtue over tyranny.
Mind you, the Virginia flag is a woman standing on a man's neck.
The image of George Washington also looks forward with Virginia. George Washington, a Virginia native, has been characterized as, quote, the indispensable man, vital to the formation of the Republic. In all of history, few men who possessed unassailable power have used that power so selflessly and wisely for the welfare of their countrymen and all mankind.
Since you brought Washington up, that was something I heard the other day, and this has nothing to do with the Virginia, the submarine, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. Did you know that when he crossed the Delaware, which was 17, I don't remember when he crossed it, 76, I think it was, maybe 77. He was only 41. Yeah, he was only 41. He was in his 40s when he took office. The late 40s when he took office.
I saw a short tonight.
Yeah.
It kind of blew my mind. I'll have to
pull
it up and show it
Paul
to you.
Revere was only 41. No, Washington was 44, I'm sorry, when he crossed the Delaware.
It brought little things, little bits of history to point out.
Yep.
The cowboy era and the Victorian era were the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah. Come to think of it, yeah.
Mac is asking which one was called Old Iron. I can't tell if that's Ironclad or Ironside.
Old Ironsides. Old Ironsides is neither the Monitor nor the Merrimac. That's the Constitution.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's the Constitution, which we discussed last week. So now I know Mac didn't watch this.
Well,
watch
we
last
brought
week's
that up That we brought that not
Yeah.
last week, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, last week I wasn't feeling well. Old Ironsides is the U.S.S. Constitution, which is the oldest ship still in naval service.
The actual
They were all known as they were both known as ironclads, Mac.
the Monitor and the Merrimack were both known as ironclads. They were wooden ships that they basically smacked plates of iron to
Yes.
and secured on.
Yes. And they very much did.
Max says, okay, going to the corner. We won't make you wear the
You
dunce
don't,
cap.
you don't
It's
have to wear the
okay.
dunce cap, buddy. You don't even have to go to the corner. I just need you to do me a favor and clean those erasers like you do so
Oh,
well.
he said he was already going to do that because he was late.
Oh, okay, that'll work.
He was going to stay late and scrub the deck.
Okay, and if you'll do the
lurker
lurker lock, I think there's some beer up there that you can have too.
Going back to emblems, I actually got a little bit of history on the Submariners.
Yep.
Insignia.
Bubbleheads, huh?
Yes, as you so lovingly call them, and I'm
yeah.
sure they adore being called.
Well, that is their own nickname for themselves.
So they picked that.
That is their own nickname for themselves.
I know your brother-in-law does not seem to appreciate it.
Oh no, Greg is okay. First of all, he's not technically my brother-in-law. His wife Leslie, God rest her soul, and I sort of adopted one another.
Mm-hmm.
And she literally would introduce me as her brother, and her kids still call me Uncle Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he is unofficially my brother-in-law.
Adopted family is wonderful.
Yeah, he is unofficially, because I know my mother's going to question that later.
I wouldn't have any sisters if it. Well, no, I can't say that.
That's not true.
I have Peggy, but wouldn't have any sisters I grew up with.
There we go.
If I didn't have adopted sisters.
Right. So, no, Greg was the one that actually told me that they were known as bubbleheads.
Okay.
So
because I thought he kind of
he
gave you side eye when you called him.
Well, that's because I did it in public and he wasn't expecting it, and there were other reasons. It wasn't the fact that I just called him a bubblehead.
Well, on June 13th of 1923, Captain E.J. King, commander of the Submarine Division 3, he later became Fleet Admiral and Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Fleet during World War II, suggested to the Secretary of the Navy, Bureau of Navigation, that a distinguishing device for qualified submariners, be adopted. And he actually submitted a pen and ink sketch of his own showing a shield mounted on the beam ends of a submarine with dolphins forward of it and a baft, which I had to actually look this up. I didn't know what a baft meant, which just means behind toward the stern.
A bat, but that's
a
something
baft.
That's something most rednecks take on Saturday. A bat.
Yeah, a baft.
I'm just.
I know. The conning tower, which I'm assuming would be the communications tower. The suggestion was strongly endorsed by Commander Submarine Division Atlantic. Over the next several months, the Bureau of Navigation. Too many hours of watching NCIS. Sorry, folks.
Apparently.
Now known as Naval Personnel Command, solicited additional designs from several sources. Several sources did offer their designs. A Philadelphia firm, which had done work for the Navy in the field of Naval Academy class rings, was actually approached by the Bureau of Navigation with the request to design a suitable badge. 2 designs were submitted by the forum, and these were combined into a single design. Hold on, it moved again.
Oh no, it moved, folks.
This design was executed in clay. It was a bow relief of a submarine proceeding on the surface with bow planes rigged for diving.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said it was executed in clay. What crime did it commit to be executed?
It was created in clay for them to see.
Oh! You said it was executed. Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to trying to add a little humor.
So it with bow planes rigged for diving.
Let's not talk about bowels.
Would you rather I say bow planes?
Yeah, that'll work.
Flanked by dolphins in a horizontal position with their heads resting on the upper edge of the bow.
There we go.
Today, a similar design is used. A dolphin fish flanking the bow and conning tower of a submarine. Now, I thought this was interesting. In all that time it took this to happen, on December 5th of 2012, the first 3 female officers received their Submariners Dolphins, making history as the first women to receive the qualification.
They have a specific name for them. Not those 3 women, but for
the women that receive
it?
No,
not for the women. No, just for Submariners. They have a specific name for that badge, and I can't think of what it is now to save my life.
It didn't seem to tell me that. It just told me, it went into such detail as to tell me where they wore the brass badge and where the stitched badge appeared on the uniform, depending on whether they were
left arm
enlisted or whether they were
officers. Left arm, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It depended on whether they were enlisted or officers.
Okay, well, we're talking enlisted because we don't ever consider.
I have to look at the article.
I believe
again.
it was the left arm, but I'm not sure about that. Not what? Hold on, Mac. What did you say?
Seaman.
Okay, yeah, we're not. Yeah, no, no. Oh, Lord.
No, these are Submariners. I can pull that article back up right there. Bubblehead. The link.
No,
if you really want to know.
It's okay. It's not that important, ladies and gentlemen. If folks really want to know, if the 3 of you who are in chat really want to know, put an S for Submariner in the chat. So if you don't, then leave it blank. I'm going to see. I bet you we get 1 person.
Well, but it looks like there's only 2 in chat now.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
A lot of messages say 2, and I'm betting that's me and Mac.
Yeah, you and Mac.
So it's kind of up to you, Mac.
It doesn't matter.
Do you have anything else?
I really have kind of covered everything.
Max says SSS.
SSS. So yeah, I guess he wants to know where it goes.
He wants to know where it. Okay, hold on.
I will say that
he just wants that
submarines,
that A+.
Submarines are a sight to behold. I will say that.
I have not seen one except in photos.
Well, because Greg was a submariner, he was stationed in Groton, Connecticut, and everything's rotten in Groton, by the way.
I will say that the recommendation of the insignia, or the badge, or whatever you want to call it, was accepted by Theodore Roosevelt Jr., acting Secretary of the Navy, in March of 24.
Theodore Roosevelt Jr.
Yes.
was still kicking around
Yes.
Wow.
In 24, he was the acting secretary of the Navy.
Well, congratulations, Theodore.
Let's see. The officer's insignia at that point was bronze, gold-plated, worn centered above the left breast pocket above the ribbons and medals.
Okay.
Enlisted personnel wore the insignia embroidered in silk, white silk for blue clothing or blue silk for white clothing. This was sewn on the outside of the right sleeve, midway between wrist and elbow. The device was 2 3/4 inches long.
So in here?
So here,
Yeah. Okay.
halfway between the wrist and the elbow. In 1943, the uniform regulations were modified to provide that the enlisted men who were qualified and subsequently promoted to commissioned or warrant ranks may wear enlisted submarine insignia on the left breast until they qualify as submarine officers, at which time this insignia would be replaced by the officer's submarine pin.
Gotcha.
In mid-1947, the embroidered device shifted from the sleeve of the enlisted service member's jumper to above the left breast pocket. A change to the uniform regulations dated September 21st, 1950, authorized the embroidered insignia for officers in addition to the pin on insignia and a bronze silver plated pin on insignia for enlisted service members in addition to the embroidered insignia. Over the years, a number of minor device or design variations, particularly in the appearance of the bow waves, have occurred. Various unofficial or commemorative badges based on the device have also been made and may have occasionally been worn with a tacit approval of local naval authorities. In 1971, Diesel Boats Forever pin would be an example of this type. In the modern Navy, the submarine pin is either a silver or gold chest pin worn above the ribbons unless a second superseding qualification has been achieved, in which case the submarine pin is worn below ribbons on the breast pocket.
Okay. I'm way out of practice.
Yeah, it's a lot of information.
I'm going to behave. I'm so going to behave. Mark the calendar, ladies and gentlemen. I did say I was going to behave. Did you have anything else?
I did have a little bit of something else.
Okay.
We discussed the fact that it would be out for 3 months.
Yep.
Let me see what this is.
I will say that when they stock supplies, and I got this from Greg, the adopted brother-in-law, there are a few sailors who end up sleeping on top canned goods because they've only got so much space on on one of those long floating sausages, and they will literally just throw their mattress, whatever you want to call it, right on top of the canned goods.
Sleeping surface.
Yeah, right on top of the canned goods. And as they get,
now, is that anybody or just kitchen staff?
I believe it's kitchen staff. I believe it is kitchen staff. So good question. Greg was a comms officer, or not an officer. I'm sorry, he worked in comms, so he did not have to deal with that.
I do have a couple more, I guess, tidbits, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
This first one is, see if I have it. This just says the Virginia class SS10. The Virginia-class submarine program is a model of collaboration and efficiency along, and I'm reading this word for word. I just have the screenshot. I'd have to do a search again to see where I found it. Is a collaboration and efficiency. Along with our partners at General Dynamics Electric Boat, we are building the most advanced attack submarine.
Let me interject and say that General Dynamics does not exist anymore. That was here in Hampton Roads. It has since been bought out by, I believe it's Huntington Ingalls. I believe.
Well, we actually touch on the other name for where Huntington Ingalls is, I do believe.
Oh, okay.
Using expertise development from building dozens of submarines, Newport News Shipbuilding is one of only two shipyards capable of designing and building nuclear-powered submarines. We also provide design and engineering services and fleet maintenance support around the world. We are building the U.S. Navy's most advanced attack submarines in the world, the Virginia class. Designed to meet the Navy's requirements in a post-Cold War era, Virginia-class submarines use advanced technologies to increase firepower, maneuverability, and stealth. The submarines are capable of submerged speeds of more than 25 knots and can stay submerged for up to 3 months at a time.
Yep.
Under an innovative agreement, Newport News Shipbuilding is producing these submarines as part of a teaming agreement with General Dynamics Electric Boat. Prior to the Virginia class, Newport News Shipbuilding designed it zoomed out. Designed the Los Angeles class submarines and constructed 29 of the 62 boats built. I thought, now bear with me because this is from Wikipedia, so we have to take this with a grain of salt. But I thought this was interesting. I read here that the Royal Australian Navy
by the way, all Aussie boats are manned by koala bears. I'm just putting that out there. And their captain is a kangaroo. Get it? That cracked me up.
On March 14th of 2023, the Trilateral Australian, British, American Security Pact, known as AUKUS, that's AUKUS, announced that the Royal Australian Navy would purchase 3 Virginia-class submarines as a stopgap measure between the retirement of their conventionally powered Collins-class submarines and the acquisition of the future SSN AUKUS-class submarines. If the SSN AUKUS fell behind schedule, Australia would have the option of purchasing 2 additional Virginia-class submarines. I just thought it was interesting that Australia would have anywhere from 3 to 5 of our Virginia-class submarines in their Navy.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Exactly.
Max.
Exactly, Mac. He's on the top of the dry goods. Captain Crunch. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, and this is just a little bit of humor, just because, well, we've made jokes about this before. Mrs. Mutt married a serial killer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Since Mac brought it up, I'm going to go there. I am, in fact, a serial killer. Captain Crunch is afraid of me. Tony the Tiger is next on my hit list. Snap, Crackle, and Pop, God rest their souls, put up a good fight, but they didn't last long.
He's sitting here with a spoon in his hand. a bowl of very sweetened milk in front of him, and he's staring at me with plotting in his eyes.
Yes. Yes. So, just so you are aware, ladies and gentlemen, I am a CER.
EAL killer.
That's right. Let's make that abundantly clear for you too.
I do have one other.
Go ahead.
Statement of information here.
Okay.
The Virginia-class attack submarine is the U.S. Navy's newest undersea warfare platform and incorporates the latest in stealth, intelligence gathering, and weapons system technology. Attack submarines are designed to seek and destroy enemy submarines and surface ships, project power ashore with Tomahawk cruise missiles and special operations forces, carry out intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance or ISR missions.
Exactly, Mac. Exactly.
Support battle group operations and engage in mine warfare. Virginia class was not the first new design to come into service after the Cold War. The Seawolf class, which was originally intended to succeed the Los Angeles class.
That's right, it was.
But production was canceled after only 3 submarines were produced. This restriction occurred due to budgeting restraints after the end of the Cold War, and the final submarine was manufactured in 1995 at a cost of $3 billion, with a B as in boy, per unit. The Seawolf class was the most expensive SFN submarine. The Virginia class was put into production in full swing due to being smaller and carrying more manageable costs than the Seawolf. The Navy is now building the next generation attack submarine, the Virginia SFN 774 class. The Virginia, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
The Virginia class has several innovations that significantly enhance its warfighting capabilities, with an emphasis on littoral operations. And I had to look that one up myself.
So you're not saying literal.
No,
you're saying
it's L as in Larry, I, T as in Tom, ORAL.
littoral. Okay.
Of or on a shore, especially a seashore, of or pertaining to a shore, as of the sea.
Okay. Alrighty then. Learn something. See, you come to a conversation with the Mutts, and you're bound to learn something.
So emphasis on littoral operations. Virginia class SSNs have a fly-by-wire ship control system that provides improved shallow water ship handling, which is what they would need for those littoral maneuvers.
Try to say that 3 times fast, ladies and gentlemen. Shallow water
Ship handling.
Yeah, that's.
The class has special features to support special operations forces, including a reconfigurable torpedo room, which can accommodate, and this is what you were talking about, a large number of special operation forces and all their equipment for prolonged deployments and future off-board payloads.
Well, that's probably why when you watch a lot of these Navy SEAL movies, you see them being offloaded from submarines and then taking the little rubber boats in from there. But yeah.
The class also has a large lock-in, lock-out chamber for divers.
Did you see what Max said?
I can't see the end word. Or I can see Seawolf was designed on something boards.
Drafting boards.
Okay.
Yep. Ah,
The class also has a large. Okay, we've got the Virginia class SSNs. Traditional periscopes have been supplanted by two photonics maps that host visible and infrared digital cameras atop telescoping arms. With the removal of the barrel periscope,
yes, Mac, you get an A+.
the ship's control room has moved down one deck and away from the hull's curvature, affording it more room and an improved layout that provides the commanding officer with enhanced situational awareness.
Ah,
Additionally, through the extensive use of modular construction, open architecture, and commercial off-the-shelf components, the Virginia class is designed to remain state of the practice for its entire operational life through the rapid introduction of new systems and payloads. As part of the Virginia class third or Block 3 contract, the Navy redesigned approximately 20% of the ship to reduce their acquisition costs. Most of the changes are found in the bow, where the traditional air-backed sonar sphere has been replaced with a water-backed large aperture bow, or LAB, array, which reduces acquisition and life cycle costs while providing enhanced positive detection capabilities. The new bow also replaces the 12 individual vertical launch system, or VLS, tubes with two 87-inch Virginia payload tubes, or VPTs, each capable of launching 6 Tomahawk cruise missiles. And the VPTs simplify construction, reduce acquisition costs, and provide for more payload flexibility than the smaller VLS tubes due to their added volume. I actually have a list of all the ships in the class.
go for it.
Of course, we have the U.S.S. Virginia.
These are all Virginia class.
These are all the Virginia class.
Okay. With Mississippi,
Yes.
the Kentucky.
Hold on. Let me go down the list, otherwise you're going to drive me nuts.
Okay.
We have the Virginia. We have the Texas.
Yep.
We have the Hawaii.
I didn't know about that.
We have the North Carolina.
Yep.
We have the New Hampshire, which is, of course, out of Groton.
No, it's not. Groton is in Connecticut.
The New Hampshire is out of Groton, Connecticut.
Yeah, it's out of Groton. Okay.
New Mexico.
I'm surprised that New Hampshire's not out of Portsmouth, but that's a whole other story.
The Missouri. The California. The Mississippi. The Minnesota. The rest of these do not say U.S.S. They have no home port yet. And they just say about when the construction began or that they're under contract. And these are the North Dakota, the John Warner, the Illinois, the Washington, the Colorado, the Indiana, the South Dakota, and the Delaware.
Now, that's odd.
Now, the South Dakota and the Delaware are under contract.
Right.
The Illinois, it says construction began in March of 2011, but it doesn't say no home part. No home.
So we're going to have at the same time, and I really need to double check this, but I believe that the U.S.S. Washington is currently in service, not the submarine. No, not the submarine. I believe it's an aircraft carrier.
Why don't you Google? Why you got the phone, your computer right there? The Washington, which is the SSN 787, I'm showing no home port, and construction began in September of 2011. Now, the North Dakota says no home port. Construction began March of 2009 and says it was christened the 2nd of November of 2013.
Hold on. Yes, there is a. There are. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah. The U.S.S. Okay, this is the George Washington. Okay.
This just says Washington.
Okay, because that's the CBN.
So that would be for the person. This would be for the state.
Possibly, yeah. Okay, because that's a Nimitz class nuclear powered aircraft here. Okay, because I'm like going. I know I watched that get christened on television, so I knew that was what threw me. Okay, so this is the U.S.S. George Washington. That's for the state. Okay, that clarifies that little bit of confusion for me.
Now, of those that I listed that have,
because that was, by the way, just for your information,
mm-hmm.
that was May of 23.
Of those that I listed, the U.S.S. Virginia is actually out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Yes.
But the U.S.S. Minnesota is out of Norfolk, Virginia. That's the only one on this list that has a home port so far out of Norfolk.
Huh. Well, it's not like, it's not like we have a naval base that can accommodate it.
5 of them are out of Groton.
It's not like we have a naval base that can accommodate anything like that.
5 of them are out of Groton. 3 of them are out of Pearl Harbor. And then Virginia is out of Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, New Hampshire?
Yes.
The Virginia is out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
The Virginia is out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. The Minnesota is out of Norfolk. Mississippi, California, Missouri, New Mexico, and New Hampshire are out of Groton, Connecticut. The North Carolina, the Hawaii, and the Texas are out of Pearl
But you
Harbor.
do see why I think that's funny.
Yes, I do.
The Virginia is out of New Hampshire. I used to live in New Hampshire, folks. So that's why I'm finding it kind of ironic. In fact, my father-in-law retired from the shipyard in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
And it's doubly ironic, or it's even, to me, it's even more ironic.
That was a little side note. Sorry,
because there's actually the Norfolk shipyard is actually not in Norfolk. It's in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Why don't we just put out all the Navy secrets on our channel?
Well, if you're around here, you know this secret. It's not that much of a secret.
It's not really a secret, folks.
It's not like I'm giving secrets about a base. I wouldn't know any secrets about a base.
I know nothing. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I do know a few secrets because I used to know somebody that works in the ship.
I know nothing. I know nothing. I have not worked on a naval base since wait, let me think. Before I speak, let me make sure. Yep, since 1993. I have not worked on a naval base since 1993.
I can't quite do what's his name?
Schultz.
Yes, I cannot.
I know nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I can't do
Schultz.
A Schultz impression.
Yes, I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yes, Matt gets an A+ for knowing that the first sub was in 1900. Yes, I will give him credit for that. Well, folks,
but that doesn't mean you get out of the work.
Oh no, you were still late to class, sir. But we're rewarding you for being late by telling you to, if you go check the lurker loft and clean that for us.
There's some beer. Get the beer.
Yeah, there's a beer. There's at least one beer, probably 2 up there in the fridge in the lurker loft. So that covers tonight's show on the U.S.S. Virginia and its multiple forms. Next week's show is one that I'm really kind of looking forward to, and it was one that you actually suggested, honey.
Yes,
and-
because it's one I've been curious about for quite some time, especially being that I've always been fascinated with Native American and have now, well, several years ago, found out that I have a whole whopping 0.05% Native American blood in me. Still have no idea what tribe, but
Sac Fox.
oh, that's right. My dad's the Sac Fox.
Yeah.
I can't verify that, but that does make sense being that I'm from Iowa.
But next week's show is going to be on the Battle of Wounded Knee.
The first
Battle of Wounded Knee.
Yeah, the first incident at Wounded Knee.
The first Battle of Wounded Knee. So we are both looking forward to that one.
Yes, Mac, it's going to be the first confrontation at Wounded Knee.
Mac, you know you're always welcome, sir.
We love having you in chat. We are so glad you come and spend time with us. We are so glad everyone who visits us comes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Whether they're lurkers or whether they're active in the chat.
I will even ask my lurkers, since we have like 5 of them up there right now, if you would please
yes,
hit the like button. And if you really want to help our channel out, check out some of our new merch. We do have merch, folks. And if you go to the Redbubble site as well as the Teespring site.
Isn't it just not Spring?
Yes, but it's easier to find under Teespring, believe it or not. We have merch there as well for Conversation with the Mutts. I will say that we have a vast variety of everything from stickers to glasses to t-shirts.
We need to do something with the cats.
They haven't done the Cats musical in
No, I'm saying we
5
need
years.
to create something with the cats as far as our merchandise.
Oh, you mean the fur babies?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Matt, you were the man. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. We are looking forward to next week's show. So please feel free to join us. It is our pleasure to do this. We do enjoy history.
We enjoy doing the research. We enjoy the discussions it leads to, even between us, but we enjoy presenting it to you guys as well.
And what's really amusing is here I am doing research for these shows with her, and I didn't graduate magna cum laude or summa cum laude. I graduated thank you laude. Research when I was in school, I wouldn't have been caught dead.
I studied paralegal in college. I didn't study history. And when I hopefully get it together enough to go back in next fall, I'm going to study English, not history.
You should study English history.
I don't think that's an option.
English history?
Well, there's literature.
No, English history. I'm talking literally the country of England, the history of the country
yes,
of England.
but I'm talking the language.
Oh, no. That would be a linguistics class.
Yes.
I'm
not doing linguistics.
No. All right, folks, it's been real, and it has been fun.
And it's even been real fun.
And it has been real fun. We do look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you again for each and every one of you. And we are out here in just a second. So y'all take care and be good to yourselves and each other.
Have fun storming the castle.